Let me go back a little bit of history. Way back, in fact, close to where we are here, Yaba, there's a West African Medical Research Institute in Yaba many years ago, founded by the colonial government. It was there the first time they actually found 3 cases of Zika in this country from people who had jaundice and fever. Subsequently, the Baron Lab, where I worked for so many years, my colleague, Professor Fagbami, and others had carried out surveys in different parts of the country. Yes, the virus is here. I mean, people have developed antibody to it, but I must also mention that when the virus lab in Ibadan closed down and stopped virology, we have not done anything about above viruses. That is, those are viruses that are transmitted by insects. We've not done anything about them. So we don't know, I wouldn't be able to tell you specifically that this is the current situation. But the virus is here. And it's not the first virus to do that. We've had West Nile, we've had chikungunya. These are viruses that are found in this country. We find it everywhere. However, something happens to those viruses when they leave Africa and they go into other parts of the world. They seem to cause some kind of more severe problem. Why? We don't know yet. These are some of the areas of study we need to carry out in this country. And that's why it was a disaster that above virology studies were stopped in this country. We always have mosquitoes with us. We always have different viruses that will come. And unless we study those ones, we will probably be able to give an answer. Currently, Zika has been shown associated with a big problem in children and newborn babies in Brazil. We don't know whether that will occur here. We think that because we have the antibodies to it, it may not react that way. We only think if it comes back, we don't know what it will be.
What kind of sorry, Mark, but what kind of mosquitoes? Not the Anopheles.
No, it's the Aedes. It could be the Aedes aegypti, Aedes albopictus. Those are the ones that are responsible for dengue, Zika, and so many of these.
So how prominent are they here?
They're all over the place. There's no problem about that.
And in looks, can you recognize them just by?
Oh yeah, the entomologists will not the layman. The entomologist will tell you this is Aedes albopictus, this is that one. But whatever, because we don't know which mosquito is carrying what, we have to also prepare. One of the first, I think one of the greatest things we need to save our country is that planes that are coming from outside of Nigeria should be fumigated, to ensure that whatever insects that are in there don't get into the country.
Yeah, I noticed that they always fumigate when we're leaving the country, but not when we're coming into the country.
Yeah, they're also protecting themselves. You know,
so we need to protect ourselves.
Yeah, we need to protect ourselves. Fumigating our planes, it's for them, it's for their own sake. So we need to do the same. It didn't used to happen before, because when we're talking about the international health regulation, it was like, keep your disease, don't bring it to me. So all those regulations about spraying our planes, and then we never thought that they could have something. Now we know that they also have viruses and also things that can be brought into this country.
So the Aedes aegypti it can also be killed with just the insecticide?
Oh, yeah, take care of it, no problem. So, no problem. I mean, that's the most, again, back to what I was saying, if any of them ever escapes to this country, we don't know what it will cause. And as I said, it has escaped from Africa. The virus have escaped to Africa and caused problems over there. But we've not seen the reverse, in which what was here before. Zika, chikungunya, all those ones were actually, the first places we isolated was way back in Uganda in 1940s, before we isolated them here. My belief is that it's all over Africa. It is where you study that you find it. Lassa, for example, we said it was founded discovered in 1969, but there have been evidence going back, that way back in Senegal, in Guinea and all those places, missionaries who have come to Africa in the 50s have shown antibodies to the disease. So it is where you study it first that gets the name. So it's not that we were the first to have it. It's been all over. Uganda had Zika in 1947, they had chikungunya, they had West Nile. I mean, West Nile is a part of Uganda. Zika is a forest in Uganda. So that's how the names came about. So, but then when we began study, it was when we found that we have it. So I believe it's all over the place.
The studies have been stopped. You call the name a particular study?
The arbovirus studies.
Arbovirus studies? Yes,
arboviruses. These are mosquito-borne diseases or
Why
viruses.
Why did they stop the study?
Like, we've stopped development in Nigeria. Sorry to say that, but that's the basic thing. Wow. This was, the lab in Ibadan was actually started by the Rockefeller Foundation. And unfortunately, virtually everything that seemed to work in this country has a relationship with something outside. Take the Obilabus lab in Unilag. I mean, the funding, a lot of it comes from the European Union. Take the lab in Redeemers University. A lot of the funding comes from Harvard. Also, the Euro lab is also funded by the Harvard group. But give me one Nigerian lab, which is funded by a government, they can't function. These are things we need to look at.
But Prof, the laboratory in UI was one of the best on the continent then.
It was a group, the family of Rockefeller Labs. And during that period, between 1963, when it was first established, to about 1979-80, when funding stopped, we must have discovered close to about 17 different viruses, which new to the world. Viruses like Cotoncom, Mokola virus, these are new things. And some viruses, which are new, Lassa, of course, was also one of them. So that's where the problem is. We've stopped, and that's why I said we've arrested our development by not focusing on those issues that are
So now the eye should be on the health ministry. What do you think because we have to look towards the government and see what they can do in terms of research, in terms of so many other things that we can help ourselves with in the health sector. What do you think that we haven't done pretty well in our health sector over the years?
Over the years, first of all, let me say one thing. Health is a combination of everybody's talent. All of us, it's not just, Ebola has shown us that the social problems, social way people look at is even equally as important as what the doctor does. And the way I behave, the way I spread, the way I bury my patient, my dead body, affects whether we have disease. So health should be done holistically. Everybody should be involved. And I think this rivalry between the different health sectors is something we must stop in this country. Everybody has a role to play. And you cannot play my role. And we need to play everybody's role together to get this in a better place. Currently, as the Minister of Health is, we must say it, there's so much infighting between them over there, the different groups, the NCDC, the Department of Public Health and all that. Until we get them working together, this country is in trouble.
These are some of the amazing. Issues. So even within the departments, there's infighting within the different sectors or the different professions within that sector. There's also infighting. It's characterized by infighting. Are we going to get any results at all?
It will take leadership. I'm talking to the Minister of Health now. He has an opportunity to bring that place together and get the best talents to work together for the good of this country. And whether you're a pharmacist, whether you're a laboratory person, everybody has a role to play. And until we do that, as I keep saying it, health will remain as it is. The Ebola success we had is almost appearing like a fluke now, because we had about so much money for the Ebola something. What will we do with it? These are some of the issues we're talking about. Unless we lay the foundation for future, we'll continue to have the same.
So where is the foundation going to be, apart from the infighting? They've always talked about primary healthcare centers.
First of all, having those primary healthcare centers are very important issues, because there's no way you can sit in Abuja and solve the problem at the local level. And it must be scaled up. Everybody must be trained along his own level, what you can do. I don't expect the people at the primary healthcare level to do laboratory diagnosis. Therefore, we need to connect everybody together. It must be a network. You do your bit, I do my bit. So if you identify the case at the community level early enough, then you can collect samples on time, take it to the lab, and so along the line we can reduce all that problem. Awareness of people at every level, and take some of the cases that happen with this current epidemic. I'm not sure which of the states. People started dying, and the belief there was that when you open up a market, people must die, and you who tells about who died will also die. Wow. And therefore, for a long time, people were dying, and nobody said anything because they assumed it was the market that was killing them. But then, when they went around to look at the PHC in that place, the place was locked up. Nobody was there for this. Whenever we build, we need to put funding to sustain. That's one of the problems, again, we have in the system, the structures we're talking about. It is not just setting it up one budget in 2008 and then don't fund it for the rest of the year. It's not going to function. You can't you can't train somebody and then don't give them the wherewithal to work. You can't have labs. The greatest problem with the federal labs is that they don't have reagents, while these other ones, which are funded by other agencies, get their constant supply of reagents. When we're starting the lab, when we were working in the lab in those days, we actually produced our own reagents at home, locally. So we didn't have to depend on anybody.
Were you funded by governments?
At that time, Rockefeller was with us up to about 78. Things were working out well. We were able to survive for another 5 years based on what Rockefeller Foundation funding left. As soon as that finished, finished. All the federal government was doing was paying our salary, and we would go to the office every morning, read newspaper, and then at 1 o'clock we'll go and pick our children, and we'll go home. That's why we're deteriorated to where we are. And that's the same thing that is happening in virtually every research institute in this country. They will pay the salary of the people. They have to be a huge amount of money for miscellaneous meetings and sitting allowance, and that's all. Look at the budget of the government. It's the same template they use for everybody, whether you're in drama, whether you're in science or in football. But there's nothing, for example, in a research lab, any funding for research. That's a problem.
And that's why we don't get results?
That's why we don't get results, and that's what we need to do. I'm not saying, let's have a template, but give everybody a space in that template to feel what you are doing. If you're in dancing, let's put money for dancing. If you're in research, let's put money for research. But right now, we have the same template. And the only thing that's common there is miscellaneous, sitting allowance, all those kind of things. We goes down to everybody. And that's where most of the money goes.
Interesting conversation. Professor Oyewale Tomari is a virologist. He is a former vice chancellor of Redeemers University. He also served as the regional virologist for the World Health Organization Africa region between 1994 and 2004. Thank you for coming on this morning.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Well, that's the show today. We thank you all for see some interesting comments here as well. But that's how far we can go. We'll see you next time. I'm Chamberlain also.
It's Friday already. I can't believe it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maokbe Ogun.
Many thanks. I'm Sulaiman Alede.